So then right here, we have anatomy of the heart. Right? So then where is your heart located? In your thoracic cavity, right? But what is the name of that area where your heart is located? Well, right here, you can see it's going to be called the mediastinum right here. It's there in the mediastinum, but it's going to be covered by a membrane. This membrane is going to be called the pericardium. That's what you see right here. Pericardium right there. The pericardium has two layers. One of them is a visceral pericardium and the other one is a parietal pericardium, as you can see right here, parietal pericardium and visceral pericardium right there. Okay, and the function of this membrane that you have in your heart is basically to reduce friction. Right? This is your lung, one of the lungs is in here, and the other lung is on the other side right here. And the lungs also move, right? They expand and contract, right, in order to release the air. So therefore, the lungs also move, the heart also moves. So therefore, they need to have certain protection again to reduce friction, right? And in this case, with respect to the heart, that's going to be the pericardium. Okay, and in between those membranes, remember, we're going to have in there the pericardial fluid, right? In this area called the pericardial cavity, as you can see right here. So if we keep moving down here, so this is the frontal view of the heart. This one right here is the posterior view of the heart. So, but if we cut the heart, we can see that the heart has three layers. Endo is the inside. So this one right here, right, that part right there, that's going to be the endo. Here's the name, endocardium, right? The one in the middle, we said that's going to be the myocardium. That's where you have the most amount of tissue, which is going to be muscle. And then the epicardium is going to be the outside of the heart. Okay, so how many layers we have? We have three. Right, they are going to be the endocardium, myocardium, and epicardium. And that's what you see right here, right? That three layers, epicardium, myocardium, and endocardium. If we scroll down right here, we can see that the heart, on the outside, you're going to see the blood vessels. You can also see that the heart is going to have certain structure right here. For example, you can see this one right there. You can see part of this one right here. Those are going to be the atriums. On the bottom right here, these ones are going to be the ventricles, basically like that. Ventricles. And what are these? These are going to be cavities that we have in our heart. You can see some of the cavities right here. So then this one right here at the bottom, we said this is going to be what? These are going to be the ventricles. This is a cavity at the bottom of your heart. That's one of them. And the other one, you can see part of it of the other one right here. Like that. So those are the ventricles. This one's right here, right? This one right here, and this one right here. This is from the outside, obviously, right? And then you can see here, this part right here that I mentioned, this is going to be the atrium. That would be this one right here. What's the job of the heart? To pump the blood. So the blood must get inside the heart first before it gets pumped. So the blood travels through the vena cava and returns to your heart. So it goes in here and it reaches your atrium, or it goes from here. This is a superior vena cava. So blood vessels that are going to return the blood to the right atrium. From the right atrium, it goes to the right ventricle. From the right ventricle, we're going to use this blood vessel right here called the pulmonary trunk. And it goes like this through the pulmonary trunk. And the pulmonary trunk is going to break in two. One will go to the right side, to the right lung, and the other one will go to the left lung. So this one is right lung. This is for the left lung, right? So we have in here, these are going to be called the pulmonary arteries. So the pulmonary arteries go to your lung. Let's say, for example, this is your lung like that. So the pulmonary arteries go in here. And from here, once they get the oxygen, they return to your heart. So this is going to be the pulmonary artery. And then you're going to have pulmonary veins. So the ones that return to your heart are going to be the pulmonary veins. You're going to have two from the right lung and two from the left lung. And that's what you see right here. One in there and the other one in here. And the other two coming from the other lung right here. And these four are going to end in the left atrium. And you can see a better view right here in the posterior side. You guys see in here? So this one is going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 pulmonary veins ending on the posterior side of your left atrium. So if we go back up in here, so we went like that more or less. So then in there, you can see how then the blood from the left atrium, it will go from there, right? They return right here into the left atrium. And from there, the blood will go down into the left ventricle. Once the blood is in the left ventricle, then the blood will get pumped into the aorta. The aorta will go up like this, and then it will come down right here, and it will go down from your thoracic cavity, basically all the way down to provide blood with oxygen to your entire body. Okay, this is the way the blood flows inside your heart. But the heart also gets blood for nutritional purposes. The ones that give blood to your heart for nutritional purposes are going to be these ones right here, right? The one in red right there, and this one right here, right there. These ones are going to be the coronary arteries. These ones in green that I put in there are the ones that are going to give you, are going to provide your heart with oxygen and with nutrients. The big ones that you see right there in yellow or golden, they don't provide blood to your heart for nutritional purposes. They provide the blood to the heart because the heart needs to perform the job, which is to pump the blood to your body. So therefore, the one that gives oxygen to your body is going to be the aorta, which is this one right here. That's the one that contains a whole bunch of oxygen. Okay, guess where the green blood vessels that give blood to your heart are going to begin with? Where do you think they're going to start? They're going to start right there at the very base of the aorta. So this one is the right coronary and this is the left coronary. Okay, obviously you know that if you have arteries, those are going to provide oxygen and nutrients to the heart. But you also have to have veins, right? The veins are going to remove the waste produced by the cells, right? And those are going to be these ones right here in blue, right? So that's why you have in here coronary veins as well. If you look at the back of the heart, you're going to see that the veins that you're going to have in your heart, they're going to return the blood to your heart, right? But most of them, they're going to be collected in this big vein right here. It's going to be called the coronary sinus. And instead of this big vein returning that into your vena cava, as you can see here, it just basically makes a hole right there in your atrium and returns directly the blood into the atrium. Okay, so then let's keep moving. So then right here, so we talk about, again, the superior and inferior vena cava. So we said those are the ones that are going to return the blood to the heart from the body. We also talk about pulmonary trunk. There's only one ventricle, right? That's why it needs to break out into pulmonary arteries, right? As you can see here, right and left pulmonary arteries, pulmonary veins. How many pulmonary veins we have? We're going to have 4, 2 from the right lung, 2 from the left lung. Then from the left ventricle, then the blood will come out with a lot of oxygen through the aorta, right? There's only one aorta right there. And the very first branches of the aorta, as I showed you before, are going to be what? The coronary arteries, as you can see right here, right? The coronary arteries. It's going to give you the coronary circulation, right? We have 2 coronary arteries, right? Right and left coronary arteries. That's what you have right here, right? But the coronaries, again, they're going to give you branches, right? They're going to give you, for example, the right marginal artery. And then there's going to be in here a posterior artery. It should be around here, right here, posterior right there. And okay, so then those are the branches of the coronaries. You have in here the left ventricle, right ventricle, left atrium, right atrium. Okay. Now, one thing that you need to think about this is that the right ventricle has thinner walls compared to the left ventricle. If you look over here, right, this part right there, that wall is thicker compared to this wall in here. So then the walls of the left ventricle are always thicker compared to the right ventricle. Right here, you can see that there is a valve and there's going to be another valve in here in your heart. These ones are going to be called atrioventricular valves because they are located between the atriums and the ventricles. Okay, and then the blood vessels are also going to have valves right here. So you can see here, you have this valve right here. These ones are going to be called semilunar valves. These ones are going to be located actually in the blood vessels. So this is the pulmonary trunk. So the pulmonary trunk is going to have a semilunar valve. This one right here is the aorta. The aorta is also going to have a semilunar valve right there. Okay, these atrioventricular valves in there, they need to withstand the pressure provided by the ventricles, right? So when this ventricle pumps the blood, this will not open. When the left ventricle pumps the blood, this will not open. So then how come they have the strength in order to withstand the pressure provided by these ventricles? That's going to give to these valves right here, going to be provided by these type of mountains that you see right there in the ventricle. Right there, those are going to be called the papillary muscles, as you can see right here, papillary muscles. These papillary muscles are going to have these sort of ropes, right? That are going to attach to the valve in there. These white lines right there, These are going to be called the chordae tendineae, as you can see right here. So when the pressure increases and the valves try to open, these chordae tendineae are going to be attached in there, and this papillary muscle will give the strength to these valves, so the valves will not open back up, therefore stopping the blood from returning into the atriums. Right here, you have the same thing, but from a different point of view, right? This is from the top to the bottom, where you can see here the atrioventricular valves, and this one right here are going to be the semilunar valve, right? So this semilunar valve is for the pulmonary. This semilunar valve right here is for the aorta, right? And this one is going to be obviously for the communication between the atriums and the ventricles. So if we scroll down right here, you will get a heart like this, and you have to cut it open. Here we have the cardiac muscle, where you can see the very characteristic of the heart. It forms branches, right? You see here maybe one and another branching here, right? You see here this one like that. It has striations, which are these stripes that you can see in there in the fibers, right? But it also has very dark stripes. Right? These darker stripes are going to be this one, right? You can see here this dark. There's probably another one right here, another one right here. There's another one right here probably. Okay, those are going to be the intercalated discs. So then, what are the characteristics of the cardiac muscle? Then that is going to have striations, it's going to have intercalated discs, it's form branches, it's going to be involuntary, right? Even though obviously you can see that in here. And this is obviously where they will have to actually do the drawing of what they see in the slide.